Hello, everybody, and welcome to the last cast on Earth. I am being joined back by my beautiful co-host, Nabu. Nabu, how are you doing?
Great. Thank you for having me.
Of course, you look absolutely beautiful, as you always do. We did miss you on the last podcast, but you're back with us now. So let's catch up. What's new with you over the past couple of weeks?
Oh, a lot of things. I've been like roaming here and there, starting a new job. So a lot of
Oh,
new things in my life. Yeah,
nice.
pretty
What?
intense.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations on the new job.
Thank you.
So what does that mean, like with streaming? Like, how are you gonna balance your new job with, like the streaming and the community that you've been building?
That's a good question. I'm still like figuring out a balance
Mm-hmm.
between my job and the streams. It's not an easy thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm pretty confident I manage.
You're a smart gal. You will definitely figure it out. All right. We just had an awesome conversation with Baboon King. Some of the stuff that we talked about, we're in week two almost at the time of recording this. We are just a couple hours away from week three starting. So we talked about season 10, what we liked, what we didn't like. Um, we also talked about balancing, are people playing, last season was a huge multiplayer update. Are you still playing that? Are you playing single player? There was an update to the rationing system, so we talked about that a little bit as well. And then we touched on some speculation, maybe some hopefuls for what season 11 is going to bring us. So with all that stuff that we talked about, what was an unexpected takeaway that you had with our conversation with Baboon King?
Oh, I was really surprised because we have such such a rich exchange between us
Mm-hmm.
on good ideas that could make the game better. That maybe I think the developers should hear out. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, I didn't expect that much good ideas.
Absolutely. Yeah, I as well was shocked at, all of the good stuff because I had some ideas that I thought were good, and then and then Baboon King would say something. I'm like, oh, that's actually better. Yeah, that's better than what I was thinking. Never mind. But between the three of us, like we definitely came up with some great suggestions on improvements. And I really hope that the developers check this episode out. Out of all the episodes, if they were only going to watch one, I would want them to watch this one because of the number of great ideas that came out. Uh, I would say,
Definitely.
I would say my biggest, well, not biggest, but like my most unexpected takeaway is the fact that he said that there's not wild pumas roaming outside of his house. I mean, the guy lives in South Africa. I'm like, there's gotta be, just like, and his name's Baboon King. Like in my mind, he lives in a jungle, and he like tells baboons what to do. I don't know. Uh,
Yeah.
that I don't know. It caught me off guard. I'm like, wait, what? So during the podcast, we're not gonna say like what exactly, but during the podcast, you made a little bit of a bet with us. How confident are you that you're gonna win this bet?
Oh, I'm 100% positive, confident that I'm gonna win the bet.
I am looking forward to you losing the bet. Because I think Baboon King and I are right, and I think you're wrong. So what are you gonna do?
Yep, I guess we'll see.
We will see indeed. All right. So before we get into the podcast, thank you very much for the graphics that you sent that we used during the podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, it was so much appreciated. The screenshots of the season pass and the reputation rewards. I think that is all we need to discuss. I hope everybody enjoys watching and or listening to the podcast. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the last cast on Earth. I am the Rukus, being joined by my lovely co-host, Nabu. What's up, Nabu? How you
Hello.
feeling? And also, we are lucky enough to be joined by the man, the MILF, the legend, Baboon King official. Baboon, what's up with you, man?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
Doing absolutely fantastic. Before we get started, we like to get to know our guests before we start jumping into topics. So, just a few quick questions for you, good sir. Number one, so we've been talking, or you've been talking about the fact that your computer went down and you're not able to stream. What happened, and when can we expect you to start streaming again?
Well, it happened about, I think, 2 days ago. So that would be like Friday afternoon. I came home, switched on my PC for the first time, and it just didn't want to start up. So I've been struggling the whole weekend to get it working. And yeah, still diagnosing. It's still in pieces in my other office. There's hence the difference between what you see here and what you actually see on my stream.
Right.
But it should be sometime this week, maybe tomorrow. But that it will be a miracle.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, we all look forward to having you back. If we can get a couple shout outs for Baboon King in the chat, I would appreciate that. Let's see. So, next question. Your name is very, very, very unique. So, you used to be, I think, the Baboon King, and now you're Baboon King official. But regardless, Baboon King, where did that come from?
Well, I actually started out on YouTube before. It's just Baboon King. Literally, that was the only name. The name came from an anime called Bleach, and one of the characters had a sword. If anybody watched Bleach before, each sword has a name, and then when it goes up into a next stage, like its next evolution or something, like they unleash its power, then it actually gets a proper name. And one of the names was Baboon King, and then it stuck with me from there on. The name on Twitch, which is Baboon King official, usually was the Baboon King.
Mm-hmm.
The normal Baboon King name has already been taken. And yeah,
Bunch of thieves. I mean, come on.
So I decided to do what every influencer would do and just say it's an official account.
Exactly.
So Baboon King official.
So the fake Baboon King. This is official. Got it. All right. So you started on YouTube. Now you're on Twitch. So besides that, what are some hobbies? What are some things that you like to do, or some things that you used to like to do before COVID, if that impacted, your like what you would do outside of gaming?
Well, what I only have been doing up until now was either watching YouTube videos or playing games. But what I do after that, I have a vlog on my YouTube channel, which is called Life Behind Gaming. Is what I actually show what I do. But it's not normal like my hobbies and whatnot. What I sometimes do is just sit and watch Netflix or whatever is on. But other than that, got a cat to take care of, and then just play games. That's basically me. That's my life.
Is it like a giant South African? I'm thinking like it's a puma or a bobcat or something when you say you have a cat to take care of.
No. That it's a small ginger cat. I don't know its breed or anything, but always wanted the ginger cat, and also one of the cats like have very short legs. One of those as well, but I don't know where to find them. But no, it's just a very small cat. It's it did kill before, like it would do. So it is a creature of South Africa. It's got that killing instincts.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, all right. Last question that we have for you before we jump into the podcast. So I have kind of an idea. I've never been to South Africa. I've seen some movies and I've talked to some people. Hold on a second while we wait for this. Thank you, Mantiga, for the 11-month sub. So I've never been to South Africa. I have I've seen South Africa in movies, and I've talked to you and a couple other people from South Africa. So I kind of have an idea of it in my head. But what would you say is like the biggest common misconception about South Africa? And can you clear it up for us?
Sure. The only one know for many years now is people think that literally outside my house right now would be a mountain or a lion or a leopard or an elephant walking here. There's no real animals walking around. If you go on Google Street View and just go to Cape Town or Johannesburg or Durban, you would see it is almost the same as New York, for instance. It is a concrete jungle, whatnot, but we are surrounded by massive amount of wildlife. But we have blocked off parks. The most, I would say, famous one would be the Kruger National Park, where you can actually go see the lions and whatnot. The big five, buffalo, leopard, lion, all those ones. But there are, since COVID, since there's fewer human sightings or whatnot, like humans stay indoors, whatnot, there has been once, a few months ago, a leopard sighting near a suburban area. People were told not to, instead of being sedated and taken to somewhere safe, they told people to leave it alone. It's territory, so you don't mess with it. And just last month there was a mountain lion spotted as well with a cub or two. So
nice.
Yeah, very, very rare sightings, but it's not something you would see every day. It's very rare that it happens.
Interesting. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I like that. I would totally agree with that, because that's what I was thinking, that, that it was, and not everywhere, like in the bigger cities, but I would have thought that there would be, like when you said you had a pet cat, I'm like, it's got to be like, a puma or something, I don't know.
Just keep it on a leash here in case somebody breaks in. It's like, here.
Hello, this is my cat. His name is Tiny.
He just bit off half of my chair. Find it.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. So, what we're going to be talking about today, the topic of the podcast, we're going to be talking about season 10, which is still going on right now. So we're catching zombies. We're doing research on zombies. But we also want to talk about how are people balancing their time between, the single player side, because the last season was a huge multiplayer update. So are you still playing multiplayer? Are you playing, single player, and how are you balancing that out? And then if we have time at the end, we're going to make some wild accusations about season 11, because as far as I know, we don't know anything about season 11 yet. Haven't seen any teasers or trailers or even concept art yet. So we'll just make some wild accusations on that if we have time. All right, so season 10. Now, Boo, in 30 seconds or less, what are your overall thoughts about season 10?
In 30 seconds. Okay. Well, interesting concept. Maybe not a very good application of the concept. Repetitive. But some new ideas that could be worked on.
Fair enough. Baboon King, 30 seconds or less. Your thoughts on season 10?
Week 1 was very interesting. I did actually enjoy it. Yes, it is a little bit repetitive, but it was very straightforward. There was no special things you need to do. So like just go out, find a zombie, catch it, come back. Cool. Mm-hmm. All right. But then after that, it feels like very repetitive, and then it just became like, yeah, there must be something else happening, because this is just like a massive grind. And I think only in week 2 or 2 weeks into the season, week 2 started or something. Like there was 1 week where like we were doing for 2 weeks week 1 tasks, if I was not mistaken. So yeah.
I gotta agree with you guys. Week 1, I thought it was a great, like Nabu said, great concept. You're catching zombies, and then we know later on the research is coming. So I'm like, great. We're catching, in week 1, we're catching all these zombies, and we're going to do something with them in week 2. And then week 2 was like, hey, remember how you were catching zombies? Go catch some more zombies. I was like, wait, what? No, like, I already caught the zombies. Like, now, like, let's do something else now. I agree. Like, because I'll be honest, like week 1, it was feeling a little repetitive. Actually, let's I don't want to get too much into it, so let's just start talking about week 1. So We're going to talk about all 3 weeks. Granted, week 3 doesn't start until tomorrow, so we'll talk about what we think about that. But week 1, catching zombies. Baboon King, tell me what you think about the system of, there's 3 different types of nets. You craft them, and then you go out and catch zombies. What do you think about the week 1 zombie catching system?
When I first saw it, it immediately reminded me of another game called Path of Exile, where there was a season they brought in where you actually had to go catch beasts. And what you do with those beasts is you would use them to craft items for you. So I thought it was going to be sort of the same thing, but it turns out the only thing you can craft were the nets. It is a very interesting system. I really like it. It is a great twist. It's a great mechanic. It works in another game. It can work here. The thing with the nets is it feels like the carbon one is just a little bit too expensive. If you're not very well developed or high up on the pro league, pro players or rich players, whatnot, carbon is going to be a hard thing to get around by. The rope one is just too weak for me. You can just basically use it for smaller zombies, like weak ones or whatnot, but nothing above that. You're going to craft rope and you're going to find rope and then you just go and just waste them away. I always stick with leather nets. Doesn't matter what zombie it is, it will be leather nets because you can find those while you're hunting the zombie. You can find cloth and leather at the same time. So I might as well just grind there while I'm catching the zombie for more leather nets. That's it.
Yeah. On that though, I agree with the fact that the carbon nets are expensive. But you get 5. You get 5 carbon nets for doing it one time, and you're almost guaranteed to catch any zombie with the carbon. So it's expensive, but I feel like you get what you pay for with that. That said, if you go and you have 10, 20 leather nets, you're eventually going to get them down. It just might take a little longer. Now, Boo, what do you think about the week 1?
I completely agree with Baboon King. The concept is great. The mechanic is great too. I didn't really see the interest of the carbon fishnet because I'm not like an old-time player and I'm not like a rich player, so I can't like just buy the resources. So I didn't even use one. I still have those, the one they give you, but I don't really use them. And collecting the items without knowing exactly what it's gonna be for was a bit confusing for some players. Well, for myself, I knew because when you understand the game and its mechanics, you know that it's something you have to keep for later. But for new gamers or maybe young players, it wasn't like very explicit. So they were all asking, what should I do with that? What should I do with that? I don't know if you probably had those questions on your streams too, but yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I would agree. And we still don't know. There are some items that we still don't know what we're going to do with. The speakers, the gas cutters, there might be like another item, but those haven't been used yet. So we can assume those are going to be week 3. The biggest thing that I was disappointed in, and I talked to a couple other partners as well, was that it wasn't challenging enough to the point to where like you could do the hardest, the 3rd level zombie with a katana and like tactical armor, and you could just go and melee it. Like there weren't really mechanics that you needed to know. From the trailer, it looked like we were going to fight bosses. It looked like we were going to fight the biggest, baddest, like blind one type zombies to try to capture. And the lack of mechanics really kind of turned it off. If they would have made the 3-star zombies harder, or even bring in like a 4th, like a higher tier, like have easy, medium, hard, and then like insane or like impossible, like name it what you want, but make it some kind of a boss fight with mechanics. Make me use guns. Make me bust out the SWAT armor. Make me put on like a gas mask or anti-radiation something, And the fact that it was too easy to do really just added to the fact that it's easy and it's repetitive. I feel like I'm just doing the season to get the rewards. So that was a bit of a turnoff for me in week 1. And then we already touched on this a little bit, Baboon King, but week 2, doing the research on zombies. So was it, in your opinion, was it different enough from week 1? And what do you think could have been done differently to make week 2 better?
That is actually a bit of a tough question, but I feel like week 1 and week 2 were too similar. I want to just add on your comment before, like they could have maybe had the 3-star zombies have doing something different, and with week 2, what they brought in were different zombies, and new elements. There were new elements as well, weather elements. So that did mix it up a little, but it was still the same thing. You know, I've only seen one 3-skull zombie do something actually. When it hits you, you start bleeding. You know, but all you have to do is just keep your distance, and that's it. You know, don't nothing more, nothing less. To make it a little bit better is, I would have done. Okay, with both week 1, 2, and we don't know what's about week 3, but what I would have done is the 3-star skull zombies is have them do something special, an extra, like I think I was on one of your streams, and there was like this one zombie where I thought like it was called the I don't know, it was some kind of monster. And I was wondering, like, if they could have made it that if it drops to maybe half its health or maybe a quarter of its health left, it would go into a rage mode. It would attack faster. It would run faster, and like then that means you have to rip everything out you have. You have grenade launchers, call in the military, ask raiders to come help, something like that.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what I think.
Yeah, and real quick, Nabu, because I want to ask you the same question, but I want to address something that that Sonoric's saying, because he does have a point. That if you put if you add something into the game that's too hard, new players will say, "Oh, well, how am I supposed to? I can't do this. This is too hard." But that's kind of the point, because look at Bunker Bravo. A new player's not going to go and do Bunker Bravo. Like it's the exact same concept. You know, Bravo is not for new players. Heck, even Alpha, you kind of have to gear up a little bit when you're brand new for it. The farm, you have to gear up a little bit for it if you're brand new. Like, there has to be something in the game that is challenging for experienced players, or you start losing those people that have been doing the game for a while. That's why I wanted to say something about, you know, add a challenge for top players. And I'm not saying take something away from the new players. I'm not saying, well, you know, get rid of the easiest zombie and then add in a much harder. I'm saying add something particular for top players. So that's kind of why that's why I was pushing for something like that. So now, Boo, your thoughts on week 2? Is it different enough? Could something have been done to make it better?
Well, I'm a bad student because I didn't play much this week, so I didn't have like really time to experience the week 2. Yay, you can hit me, but not too hard, please. But yeah, I join you from the discussions I had and the few I saw that Kefir seems to be very struggling with finding a balance between difficulty for new players and difficulty for old players, like good gamers.
That's true.
And every time in every season, it's either too easy or too hard, depending on what time you have been spending on the game. And so, yeah, I think it would be great. Like, the best season would be a season where they've managed to make it hard enough for new players and hard enough for old players. And this is like the tricky part, I think.
Yeah, I totally 100% can get behind that concept. I just, so like my thing about week 2 is just my biggest issue with it is that it was just the exact same as week 1, except you have to have items to level up. And man, it just you just got to do something different. So like even if it's not like capturing zombies, even if it was go to Bunker Alpha and like zombies will drop random items that you need to do research, or have the scientist van be a zone where you have to escort scientists to do a quest, and like you have to protect them from waves of zombies. Just anything different, but it was just the same, and it felt a little lazy, honestly.
If I can add by that, it just feels like the items you collect for season 2, the research things, it's just too far and few between for me. Even
That's
for
true
me,
too.
like I'm struggling a little bit just to. At some point, I was stuck with not enough items, and I was struggling. So I had to go and run. If you go into red zones or whatnot, you open a chest, you might have a chance of getting one of those things, and then you have to go over and over and over and over. And that was why I'm saying like the brakes were hit on week 2.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that said, week 3 starts tomorrow. We are a few hours away from week 3. Baboon, what do you think is gonna happen? Because we're gonna have tasks. We're potentially gonna have a new zone. What do you think is gonna happen in week 3?
So what I was thinking is, well, this is just my idea. I want them to have. What they're really gonna do, I have no idea. But what I would like is, let's say, for instance, now we did week 1 capture zombies. Week 2 we did research on them. I hope in week 3 that the research we've done to them, we will fight them. They are much more monstrous. That's what I want to see, for that extra challenge and whatnot. Because now we're researching, and what possible other thing could happen by researching something. Now you research something, now you want to put it and test it out on the field. So either you're going to go fight it, or that's basically all I can think of.
Nabu, what do you think?
Well, I feel this season, and it was like the thing that was the most interesting about it is that they are adding to the storyline of the game, with the idea of making experiments on zombies to maybe potentially find a cure. So I don't know, maybe I'm expecting for week 3 to have like something really added to the storyline, like an outcome for this season, what it's gonna change in the game. Maybe it's gonna bring some new permanent novelties, something that changes. I don't think that they will come up with a cure, because it would mean maybe it's the end of the game. So it would be weird. But the logical, to me, the logical course of the season, the week 3, would be something like working out on I don't know, a cure or something to neutralize them. I don't know, something like that. Something that adds to the story.
Yeah, that's almost exactly what I was gonna say. Was that it can't be a vaccine or a cure or something, because there's still a lot of elements in the game that have to keep going. So it could be like and do we know why they're doing research or what research they're doing? All we know is that they're just doing research for what exactly. So it could literally go anywhere. But yeah, I mean, like, we haven't seen tungsten, we haven't seen titanium. Like, there's a lot of stuff we haven't built. We built an ATV just to go to a swamp. I don't think so. The ATV is going to have a bigger part of the game, and if it doesn't, oh my god, I'm going to lose my mind. So it's definitely not a cure or vaccine. I would say best case scenario, it's Similar to the mechanic where we were testing, what was it? Not Fort Moss, but the village thing where we were like helping people test like potion, like we would throw potions at zombies and then they were like, actually, no, now we're going to be stronger, you know? So I could see it going in a direction like that where, you know, they try to come up with something and then we test it in week 3 and it enrages zombies or makes them stronger or something. Because it can't be, you know, a cure or anything like that.
So
Yeah,
that could actually be good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
yeah. The thing is that with a game, any game in the world, it depends on replayability. You must have players be able to replay the game. So if you're gonna end the game, you gotta announce maybe last day of 2, you know, just to keep it going. Otherwise, it just if you get a vaccine, it's not, you're just ending the game right there.
Yeah.
So
All right. So now, Boo, we have the season pass and reputation rewards.
Yeah. So actually, I wanted to ask you, Baboon King, what are you thinking about the changes on the season pass? Because there's a new layout. What do you think of the balance between the premium rewards and the free rewards? General thoughts about it.
So what I can just speak for like what people mentioned in my streams the whole time were free to play players were not very impressed with the prizes that you can get in the pass. But what I like, okay, is like how it looks like. And what I mentioned just earlier about replayability, now it gives people an incentive for that very last reward, which is an infinite reward. You can grind it out
Yeah.
as many times as you want. So even if you're not getting your kitty backpack or the hologram or whatever else, you still get a really cool amount of guns. Those are really sought after guns.
Yeah.
And that's what I think was the whole idea after a pass. But once again, it's the free to play players told me like they are not happy with the rewards they are getting. You know, premium are getting much better rewards. So, but I'm just saying of their advice. For me, it was just like I want to finish tasks. This is what I like to do in games. I want to finish tasks. So,
And can I just ask because I honestly don't know because I have the premium pass. But what does it mean when so like if you look at the pass, you see some things are purple underneath, some things are blue underneath, some things are gold or yellow underneath. What does that mean exactly? Because it's all in the same, like in one, if you look at level 25, there's some with nothing under it, and then you have, you know, something blue under it, and you have something gold. Like, what does that mean? Does it all mean the same thing? Why are there different colors? That confused me.
yeah, that's also confusing for me. That was also confusing. That's what, like what I'm saying. The free to play players were like complaining about their prizes they're getting, and I was just like, okay, now which one are the free to play ones? I don't know. Which one is free? Which one is now the premium? I don't know.
Yeah, is everything that's underlined premium or like I don't know.
I don't know. So yeah.
Yeah, me too. Me 3.
Okay, I'm glad it's not just me because I was looking at this stuff like what the heck?
Maybe somebody in the chat has an idea or
Max says rarity of the weapon. Okay, that makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And do you
right,
feel the same way, Rukus, about what Baboon King said about the layout and the rewards? The quality of the rewards?
As far as quality of the rewards, it's, I mean, yeah, for people that don't have the premium pass, I'm not seeing anything that's great. I mean, look at level 6 for you know, non-premium. You get a road sign. Oh, that's great. You know, like what? You know, I'm not seeing anything on the free to play like the you know, like the non-premium that really stands out. I mean, I guess a gas cylinder if you're still working on your ATV. There's some carbon. It's like there's nothing that I see that I'm like, oh man, that I want to grind out for that stuff. 3C4, but that's level 55. Yeah, I don't know.
Not even the kitty backpack.
Well, the kitty
That kitty
the
backpack.
do you not have to? I think that's premium only though.
Yeah.
I think it's premium only. So yeah, if I don't have the premium pass, I'm not extremely excited about it. But for like on the flip side though, having the premium pass, yeah, I want all three. I want the hologram, I want the kitty backpack, and I want the zombie killer bike skin. I don't know why, because I don't particularly like pink. There's just something about the zombie killer bike skin that I'm like, yo, I need that in my life. So yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. And so tell me, Rukus, what are your general thoughts on the reputation system this season? Because we all saw that there were some changes too. There are not 3 but 2 characters now.
Yeah.
The rewards are different. Did you think it was difficult to progress in the reputation? Tell me.
The hardest part about progressing in the reputation is the fact that I'm just doing the same thing over and over, and I get bored with it. That's the hardest part. It's not hard to go, catch zombies and then, come back with the items and do research. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. The hardest part is like, I don't want to do this. I want the rewards and everything, but I don't want to keep doing the same stuff over and over. That's the hardest thing. As far as what the rewards are though, again, like there's nothing super great that stands out until you get to revered. You get, 5 carbon, 2 C4, and a gas cylinder on Fox, and then you look at Robert, another gas cylinder. So like it's a lot of the same. The landmines, it's for me it's nothing terribly great, because a lot of these rewards are just looking at the ATV. The carbon is great. I'll take the carbon. Even honored on Fox, you get 5 lead plates. That's pretty good. So probably the biggest thing for me would be like the C4 that you get from Fox. I do find it bizarre that there's only it's different, like you said, that we only have 2 people, which I find kind of bizarre. So it tells me we're not getting a third person. We're not going to get a lot of new stuff going on in week 3 is kind of what it tells me. But we're gonna continue on with Fox and Robert and just see what happens, I guess. Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. Yeah. And what about you, Baboon King? Do you share that opinion?
Actually, I do. Excuse me. The thing is with me, I haven't completed my ATV yet. I'm far from it. I still haven't done Bunker Bravo. So for me, the rewards of the reputation at the end, ATV related, is I must aim for that. So it is. That is my goal for that. The thing is with in terms of the progression of the reputation system, yeah, we're not going to get a third person because we would have seen a little outline of another person or whatnot. So that's not going to happen. Week 3 might not bring any new person we're going to see. But when I started out, it took me literally the whole week of week 1 playing every day. I was streaming every day, and just catching, like Rukus said, like this mind-numbing repetitiveness, coming and just catching zombies and just trying to get it over with. Eventually, I finished it, but when week 2 arrived, it just it went choop 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 within a few days. I was already honored, So for me, it feels like in week with Robert's reputation went a little bit faster for some reason. some other people also mentioned, like, why is it progressing so quicker than Fox's reputation? That I don't know. We just noticed that. So for me, the progression was tough in the beginning and way too easy now in the second time. That's what I see.
So on that, I did notice that you get more reputation points for doing Robert's tasks, because I think the reason that is because you have less time, and you have to, it's kind of doing the same stuff, but then you're also bringing in, the item aspect. So that's why I think Roberts seemed to go faster, because you get more reputation points for doing Roberts versus doing Foxes.
Yeah, that's true. True.
On that matter, I think Kefir really hurt the players, because the last season, well, not the season 9, but the season 8, people were mostly complaining that it was very difficult to finish the reputation with the third character. So I think on that matter they did good to put only 2 people, because it's gonna be easier. But there's still the question on what is gonna happen the third week. Then
That's true. Yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
All right. So so along with adding, the new season, there were some other changes in this last update. One of those changes was to the rationing system. And it was actually kind of a huge update that not a lot of people are talking about. Maybe for a good reason. We'll get your guys' opinion in a second. So the first change is they added the ability to ration the motel and the farm. Baboon, have you done either of these? And if you have, what do you think? If you haven't, why not?
I actually didn't even notice it was a change, if I can be dead honest. Yeah, it was. I'm one of those guys that just like, I jump into the game and see what I want to experience the changes for myself. But when I said, like, I haven't done Bunker Bravo yet, I'm actually just preparing now to go into Bunker Bravo and fixing the terminals. So I need wrenches. That's one thing I'm lacking. I've done Bunker Alpha, I've rationed Bunker Alpha, and just in the hopes of getting more wrenches. But then I can't remember who told me that somebody said that I can also get wrenches from the motel. So I clicked on the motel and was just like, ration. Oh, there we go. There's a wrench, but it took me like 2-3 rations. And it's like, no, it's not worth my time. I'm just like, rations, it's not worth it. So for one wrench, for me now. But I didn't know about the farm being also now being rational. You can now ration that area. I think it is sort of a good move, maybe. I'm not really sure.
Well, on that, so you mentioned Alpha. I was gonna bring that up next, but when you say you rationed it before the season started or after the season started?
After the season started.
Okay, so that's because before it was you could ration Alpha twice. The first time, if you hadn't touched, this is a fresh Bunker Alpha, you haven't touched it, you use 100 rations, and it clears everything in easy mode, and then you get coupons, you get like you get a lot. I'm not sure if it was worth the 100 rations, but you did get a lot. And then you could clear it a second time for 150 rations. And then that clears everything in hard mode. And then you get items that you would normally get in hard mode. So that has changed to it's 15 rations, and you can keep doing it an unlimited amount of time. You do it over and over and over again. But, you don't get as much stuff from it. So that was another thing. Now, Boo, so what do you think? Have you been using the rationing system, and what do you think of these changes?
Well, I haven't been using much the rationing system, but the what Baboon King said about the motels sounds fair because it's very easy to do, and I don't think it's worth using rations on it.
Mhm.
I think I have to see for myself how interesting it is to use it on the farm. I don't know, maybe you did, Rukus?
I did. So I did make a video on it. I'm
Sorry, I didn't see it.
No, hey, that's fine. Hey, I guess nobody go to my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I do. I subscribe to
YouTube.com/the
your
Rukus
channel.
Gaming. I need to post that somewhere. YouTube.com/the Rukus Gaming. And definitely don't go check out my video on rations. Don't do that at all. But But yeah, so I have thank you, Quinny. So I have I did two videos. I did one before the rationing system changed months ago, and then I did when they talked about the update to the system. I decided to go through and do a new video. We did a lot of research, did it live on that video. Some of it was fast forwarded because it was kind of boring. But yeah, so there is a video on the YouTube channel that goes into more detail about what you can get and things like that. But in summary, for 15 rations to do the bunker, I think the most interesting thing was that I got a piece of CBRN randomly on one of the attempts doing or like rationing the bunker for 15 rations. I'm like, oh, that's kind of worth it. And then I did it again and I didn't get CBRN armor, and I'm like, well, then I don't know. So it can be good. You get steel, you get grenades, and it's okay. But the fact that they took it from 100 and 150 to making it only 15 rations,
Yeah.
and they just take, I mean, like, you get not a lot of stuff. So
Yeah, they could have found an in between that would have been better.
Yeah, I think it went from too many rations and getting some pretty good stuff to a decent amount of rations, but you get next to nothing for it. So yeah, and one of the other things that I'm seeing in the chat is you don't get a lot. I think of all the times that I did it with my rations, which was like 5 or 6 times in total. I think I maybe got 2 yellow coupons, so you're not able to use rations and get what you need to open the chests.
Yeah.
Oh, but the other thing about alpha is that you can you can keep doing it over and over again, and it doesn't reset the bunker. So there is that. And then with the police station and the farm, and even the motel, like, there's nothing great. I think the farm gives you steel. I got steel or copper almost every time I did that. But outside of that, it just doesn't seem worth it for me,
Okay.
Yeah, I would say it would be a little bit more efficient for Bunker Alpha to learn the wall trick, and just go and do that. You'll get more tickets out of it. You'll save up on weapons and armor and things, and then Bob's your uncle. You can even do the wall trick at the farm and get, it's just much more efficient to do it in that way. Or what if Zarf is in the chat? He will probably shout at me. It's the wall skill. Sorry,
Wall
trick,
skill. Wall skill.
Wall skill.
Oh,
It's a skill.
But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the other changes, and this goes to the other side of the wall, into the crater, the miner fight. I don't have exact details. But the miner fight did change. It is definitely harder than what it was. It was difficult to begin with, but we did notice some changes. So I don't know if you guys have played in the multiplayer enough to get into the miner fights, or if you've seen other people do it. But basically, the miner has some abilities that he can use. They happen every once in a while. And then since the update, these abilities happen more and more often. And then they seem to come into some type of a sequence. So with the miner fight already being difficult and tricky, does it make sense for you guys, whether you've played it or not? Like, does it make sense to make arguably the hardest thing in the game even harder? Baboon King, what do you think about that?
I think it kind of answers your question earlier about a season, of making things a bit more challenging for more experienced players. By now, I haven't really seen it, or I haven't played it, the multiplayer side, going to the miner and whatnot. But I've seen other people do it. It looks very, very hard to do, especially now with the frequent spamming of abilities and whatnot. I'm just being outright stronger now than ever before. I think it's more to do with the balancing of everybody has been in Sector 7 now, or the city creator, and people have gotten guns, gotten better armor. They've done their businessman trades, and now they're changing their suits now for hunting air filters and whatnot, and they will go there. It's now just players that are just much more geared up for those things. So I think that the developers did a change a little bit to make it now a little bit harder to go do it, because of more experienced players and people who've been doing their business proper.
Nabu, what are your thoughts on making the miner fight harder than what it already was?
Well, I never did the miner fight.
I didn't think so.
Even before, so I might not be the best person, but from what I hear, I feel like what Baboon King said is pretty fair. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to throw the question out there because like a lot of people would say, the miner fight is really hard. It's next to impossible to do. So we were challenged. Hinky Mono and I were challenged by Resbeck to do the miner with two people, because previously we did do the miner with just two of us before the update, and then it got harder. So Resbeck challenged us to, 2-man attempt the miner, now that they increased the difficulty. And it is possible. It is possible to do it. So, if you want to see that, make sure you go check out my YouTube channel. Just kidding. But yeah, it is possible to 2-man the miners still. That's not to say that it's easy. It was definitely very difficult. It took a lot of resources for us to do that. So yeah, it's hard. It's a good challenge, because if you make one small mistake, especially with two people, if you make one mistake, you're gonna wipe, you're gonna die, and nobody likes dying. So
no.
Yeah. With that said, Nabu, I believe you have some more questions for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I have some rapid fire question for you guys. Are you ready? Okay, I'm gonna start with you, Baboon King. The idea is to try not to think too much and just answer quickly. Okay? So what changes your favorites about season 10?
The season pass.
Okay, least favorite.
Oh, least favorite.
Now the least favorite, yeah.
Now the least favorite. All right. The repetitiveness.
Okay. What about you, Rukus?
My favorite change would probably be making the miner fight more difficult, honestly.
Yeah. Least favorite?
The repetitiveness. It's like
That's fair.
I've been complaining about it the entire episode. It's definitely my least favorite.
Yeah. So, which zombie was your favorite to catch, Rukus?
Oh, me.
It's a tricky one.
The ashy guy behind the motel. He's like
Yeah.
black and ashy. Yeah, that guy.
Okay. You, Baboon King?
The one zombie, like it's a very tall one. You have to lure it with a piece of meat or something. Like you just lure it and just go
Yeah.
stand one side, and then if it rocks up, you can just shoot it and it runs to you. If you shoot it enough, it just drops. Quickly throw the net and repeat again. It's like very easy.
Wait, I want to.
Yeah, okay.
I want to change my answer. The guys that make the bunkers have half health. That's my favorite one.
Oh.
Because then it's
Yeah,
like
this one is good.
because then it's like a free bunker bravo pretty much. I'd say I changed
Yeah.
I changed my mind. You made me think too fast. I thought you were gonna ask him first.
Dang it.
Okay. So, did you enjoy the weather changes, Baboon King?
Yes, I love the weather changes. It breathes a little bit of fresh air into, no pun intended, but yeah, it's like a fresh new scenery for the game. I love it. It's really cool.
Yeah, and should it stay permanent in the game, do you think?
Yes, definitely. Just to make sure that you know which zone you're going into, because in contracts you know what zone you're going into, but you don't know if maybe after the season they would just make sure, like if you click on or tap on the area you're going to, just to make sure like weather update, like what's it going to be like there. So just to give you an idea. Yeah.
Would be cool. Yeah. What about you, Rukus?
Wait. Oh, enjoy the weather 100% because it was something different. It made the zombies interact differently. And yes, it should stay in the game. And here's how. I'm going to answer quickly. So I think there should be like, I think you shouldn't know. I think you shouldn't know what the weather's going to be like. I think you get to a zone and then it's like surprise weather, so
Yeah.
you get like a 15, maybe 20% chance that there's going to be some kind of weather, and then it's just random what that piece of weather is. Like based on like the thunderstorms, the super hot zones, the fog, the wind. I think it should be random. And then you're like, oh crap, I wasn't expecting this. This is an added challenge for me. It makes the game harder. I enjoy this because it's a challenge now. All right, done.
Yeah, totally agree. That would be sick. All right. From a scale from 1 to 10, what would you rate this season? 3, 2, 1, Rukus.
4. And the only reason it's that high is because something that they did, I appreciated very, very much. Do you guys remember the Christmas tree where it was like, hey, use these items and you have, a very good chance to upgrade your ornaments. And then you have like a, kind of good and it's bad and then it's low or like whatever it was. And we were like, what does that mean? I've had a good chance 5 times in a row and it goes down every time. What does good mean? What does bad mean? What does it mean? With this season, they give you percentages. When you add in stuff, when you're doing your research, it says, all right, you give me these items. You only got 50%, bub. Maybe you better give me a little something else. And then you add more stuff. It's like, all right, you got a 97% chance. Cool. Now I'm going to upgrade. That's the only reason why it gets a 4. If they don't have that aspect, if they don't add that, it's a 2. Honestly. Done.
Okay. What about you, Baboon King?
I would give it a 6 because of the weather system they've added, which is just a little bit something new for me. And also because of, like I said, it reminded me of another game. We have to go catch something and you do something in return, although we don't know what we're going to do yet. It's just a little fun mechanic along with a fun weather system, which it does give it a 6, but it would have been higher if it wasn't for the breaks being applied in week 2.
That's true. I wasn't considering weather. Maybe I'll give it a 5. 4.5.
Yeah. 5 sounds fair. Like, good enough for trying, not good enough to be excellent.
They've done better. They have definitely done better.
Yeah, we know they can do better. That's why sometimes we're a bit harsh on them.
That's true.
Okay. How would you continue the storyline of the scientists doing researches on the zombies? What could happen next? 3, 2, 1, Baboon King.
I would think what would happen next if we're staying in the season, not in the whole game, just in the season. I think what's going to happen next is the research is being conducted, and either the zombies are breaking out and we have to go catch them again, or we actually going to fight them in the basement underneath the barn. That's what I think.
Okay, you want to fight. What about you, Rukus?
Yeah, so continuing the storyline, like, I guess, like, going forward, like, beyond the season, like, because it does seem like we're getting more and more people that are like, hey, I want to help, and I'm not, like a raider or somebody that actually just wants to murder you. So I think going forward, like, yeah, like, for the season, it does make sense because we do know there's a basement or something. So that's probably what we're going to see in week 3. But then going forward after that, I think there are going to be more elements of people trying to find a cure or trying to find, or like, not a cure, like you're going to bring dead people back to life, but like something that is going to, like, just completely wipe out the zombies to be the end of the game, I guess. Or I guess you can't really end the game because I don't know. Crap. I don't know. I guess so. I guess the storyline continues. The storyline continues with, trying to kill all the zombies and then live a normal life post-apocalypse, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, well, 2 ideas, but 2 interesting ideas. Okay. And so what specific changes would you make to improve season 10? Rukus?
Just make the researching something different, because like you can't have 2 weeks of doing the exact same thing. Like, it's just it's too, because week 1, like at the end of week 1, I was like, man, thank God I'm going to be doing something different in week 2, and then Kefir was like, actually, like, it's not
my beer.
Yeah, I was like, oh, like, come on. So I would have made week 2 a completely different system than what we're seeing or what we saw in week 1, because it's just, good God, the repetitiveness. So all right, so specifically though, I would say, well, I think I already said this, but like the first biggest, like the biggest thing I would do would have been to have the week 2 stuff be escorting scientists through the scientist van, and or maybe even escort them like on the other, like you take them to the like whatever the first location was, the laboratory. You escort them through there, and then you escort them through the scientist van. You're you're protecting them from raiders, you're protecting them from zombies, and like that specifically, it would be like the biggest, and I would say easiest change to make, because we've done escort quests before, so just do that, so it's something different,
Okay.
There you
What
go.
about you, Baboon King?
For me, week 1 was fine, but a little bit repetitive, and I agree with Ruckus with the week 2 being exactly the same thing with a little bit of research. What I would have done then is, with the research part, is you would do your research, and if it fails, the zombie escapes back into the wild. You have to go track it down again, and now because you researched on it, it's a little bit stronger, a little bit different and whatnot. Just to go catch it, bring it back again, and continue on the research now with different items, maybe, just to keep it interesting. So if you fail, you don't like, oh, it fell. It's like, okay, fine. I'm just wasted, research materials.
Right.
I would rather it failed. Now it escaped. Now I have to go get it again. So yeah, it's gonna add to a little bit to that repetitiveness, but it's that 50% chance. Is it gonna succeed, or is it gonna fail? That 50% chance.
Yeah.
And when you bring it back, you might have something else. There's like, okay, now let's try the thermostat or the thermometer, because it's still kind of warm, which is a very odd description for an item.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fair.
So that's what I would change.
Fair. Yeah, good idea. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, guys. No more question for me.
Okay.
But I think, Rukus, you wanted to talk to us about the balancing between single player and multiplayers.
Yeah, because I know I split time between, I'll play single player. I'll go through my daily tasks, work on my weekly tasks, raise my reputation, and then I jump back and I do multiplayer with the clan. I've kind of stopped raiding. I do miss raiding. I want to get back to it, but I find it more fun playing with other people, and I feel like I'm just doing, like single player stuff right now to fulfill, like to get my season pass maxed out, get the rare items. I feel like that's really the only reason why I'm playing single play right now, because I'm not enjoying it. Honestly, it's boring, it's repetitive, but I want the items, so I'm doing it. That said, Baboon King, before your computer died, how were you splitting your time between the two sides? Did you play, one side more than the other?
For me, what I actually only played single player. I'm a more of a single player storyline person. I want to explore the storyline and whatnot, except for maybe high action pack games like Battlefield 1 or something where there is repetitiveness and there's just fun and mayhem or whatever. But with the previous season about the Creator City, it breathed new life into the multiplayer, and I did enjoy it up until a point. There was up until a point. I think everybody knows that point.
I think
and then it's just like it killed it for me. It really did kill it for me. I just decided now I'm having more fun with a single player. There's a lot more to do. There's a farm to do. There's the motel. There's Bunker Alpha. There's the attempt at Bunker Bravo. There's a season there and whatnot. Multiplayer was just not there for me. And when you get there, there's sometimes there's these irritating people coming in and just bugging you constantly from, do you have this, do you have that, do you have this? And even if you tell them no, they will still stick around and just spam your chat and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's just multiplayer. The multiplayer part for me was not really my thing. So
yeah, fair enough. What about you, Nabu? Were you, because I know, because you were invited to join my clan and then you said no. So are you playing multiplayer with your own clan in your community?
Yep. Well, I love the multiplayer part in the game because it's very funny to be able to play with some friends. But I don't have a connection good enough to be able to play the multiplayer correctly.
I see.
I have always some issues, some freeze. Sometimes it makes me die and it makes me want to kill everybody around because it's really not the good time for me to die, when you're on a mission with your clan.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's a bummer because I really love that part of the game. I wish I could play more, but every time I go there, it's really ruining all the patience I have, and all the cool I can have too. So yeah, I don't go as much as I would want to, and I stick mostly to the single player. But once I have a good connection, I will definitely go more. Yeah, and I hope that maybe next seasons would be more about multiplayer. Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that because the next question I was going to ask you guys is if you had to pick one side, and this isn't going to happen. This is a what if scenario.
A fantasy.
So if you had to pick one side of the game that you were going to play and only that side was going to receive updates going forward, which side would you pick and why? Baboon King, I think I know your answer, so we'll start with you.
All right, so my answer will be single player because there must be a storyline and whatnot, but I always said what they should do is split multiplayer and single player into two separate games. it Last Day on Earth, which is the single player, and then Creator City or Sector 7, whatnot, another game, mobile, which is still would interact with each other. You will have a profile on a server or something, and you have these two characters. But just to make sure to split it up, because we have to remember that a mobile game must remain small. So the more things you add, it's going to become bigger and bigger. It's going to be a very big game, and some people won't be able to play it. So you must either choose more multiplayer or more single player. More things added into a game makes the game bigger. It runs slower. There must be place for optimization and whatnot. So I feel like multiplayer has its place in the game. Okay, I've known for a long time people wanted multiplayer in the game for a very long time. So when they added this city creator, I felt like this is going to be it. This is going to be the new thing, and I wouldn't mind going into Sector 7 or Creator City. But after a while, it's like, yeah, I would rather want Sector 7 to fall away so it makes more space for the single player to receive updates and continue on the storyline, rather than focus on something that, like Nabu was saying, like she remember, she is closer to maybe Russia or whatnot, what I am geographically on the world. Imagine my ping, imagine how much lag I have.
True.
I'm much south from everybody else in the world.
This is true.
So there is that issue as well, and I think Kefir just like kind of misjudged on how online multiplayer is going to affect. They had improved their servers. I've known that. I've seen improvements on latency and network performances and whatnot, but still, I think they are still too focused in their networking is too much still focused in Russia or somewhere there. I don't know where they rent their servers, but it's still focused in one area.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering, the same thing. Like, because we see, like, when you create an account, you can pick a server, but it doesn't say, like, this is a North American server, this is a Russian server, this is, Asia server. Like, it's just like server 1, server 2, server 3, server 4, So it's like, what does it mean? It'll say, like, one's a new server, one's a hot server, one's a almost full server. I mean, like, so what? And I honestly don't think they mean anything. I don't think the servers mean anything, because I've talked to people. They're like, I'm on server 2, I'm on server whatever. But so what? I'm not gonna run into you in single player ever. But in multiplayer, we can be in the same clan. So what does that mean? Like, what? I don't know.
But I think what it basically just means is, from my experience, is they have a cloud-based network, server room or whatnot, and those servers you see are just extra slots they put in to accommodate more players. So the location is still the same. It's just the servers are just to accommodate extra players. The more come in, the more they have to add eventually.
That makes sense.
So
that makes that makes sense there. All right, so to go back to rewind, because we started talking about server capacity somehow off of that question. So to rewind, Nabu, if you had to pick hypothetically one side to only get updates and for you to play going forward, which side would you pick and why?
I would pick multiplayer, because I guess that would mean they would like make the experience for the players better. And because I'm a team player, I like to, help my mates, receive help when I need it, do stuff do teamwork, That's what I like. I like also the trading system they added.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I really agree with you, Baboon King, with the idea of splitting the game into games. I think it would make the experience for the players better, because they could have maybe 2 different teams working on each side, and maybe the seasons would be more efficient. They would be more qualitative, if that's a word in English.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
agree.
So yeah, I think it's a good idea. But I'm not really sure if that's something they could, yeah, do someday.
It depends on them at the end of the day.
In the wildest dreams, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, if they have two development teams, they could keep it as one game and keep updating them at the same time. So
Yeah.
it does right now feel like two different games, and we're gonna get into that in the next question. But like you, Nabu, I would pick multiplayer, and kind of for the same reasons. It was just yesterday. I was logged in, and like I was asking, I was like, "Yo, Jedi, what are you doing? Can I help you level up?" And he was like, "Oh, I need, USBs and wrenches." I was like, "Cool, bro, I got you." And then Bushido comes in and he's like, "Hey, man, I need this, this, and this." I'm like, "Cool, man, I got you." And then and it was just like helping people out, like helping other people succeed. I'm like, let's go. Like, I feel good. I feel like I'm helping and contributing to my clan's success, and other people do the same. Like Hinky helps us out so freaking much. We got Evie helping us out a lot as well. Like, everybody in our clan right now carries their weight, and that's leading to our success. We're almost at 23,000 popularity. So I'm just like, bro, come get it, baby. Like everybody's helping everybody. So
Yeah.
I would pick I would pick multiplayer. It's too much fun. If they add something like like harder, or maybe not harder bosses, but just like different bosses with different mechanics and stuff. Yeah, I'm telling you, like there's big things. Like they got multiplayer right. Baboon King, were you gonna say something there?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to add that the reason why I pick single player above multiplayer is, for me, it's the seasons. Okay, I know the reason why I played multiplayer a lot more previously is because of the season, because I had things to do, and unfortunately I did not complete it. Like, there was nothing wrong with the clan. It's just like some people had things to do in life, and we just could not get together and do something or whatnot. I didn't even experience, like I said, the minor or anything. But with now, I'm too much focused on the single player season pass. I wish I could go back and help out. But once I'm done with, like we were saying, for instance, my streams or whatnot, after that, I got stuff to do in real life. I can't just go help out in multiplayer, unfortunately.
That's fair.
So unless the game was multiplayer, it was only a multiplayer game, definitely I agree with you guys completely. I would love to play with other people, and just see a business grow. If they could probably make everything from Last Day into Sector 7 or City Creator, then it would be a brilliant freaking game, because it has all the people you want to play games with. You're going to see other people, then I think that would have made a proper game.
Yeah. So you agree with us, and you're saying we have no life because we help out our team. All right, cool. Got it.
No, but I get what you mean, Baboon King, on that matter. I think the experience on the Sector 7 is really different.
I'm sorry.
Come on.
Low blow.
Is very different depending on the relationship you have with your clan. If members are being active, and if they are really in sharing, sharing and helping mood. So yeah, I guess some people don't like the multiplayer side because they don't have like a good team. I'm not saying you don't have a good team, but maybe some older people.
Well, he said you don't have a life, so you're allowed to tell him that he doesn't have a good team.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
All right,
but yeah.
Yeah.
So something that came up that I wanted to jump more into. So the thing about splitting into two different games. Something that I wanted to ask was, what if, or not what if, but do you think that potentially down the road somewhere that the two sides can interact more with each other? Like we saw in season 9, kind of a little bit where, completing things in season 9 led to rewards. It like for like you do the stuff in multiplayer, you get the rewards in single player. What if they take that concept and have it to where you do something on the multiplayer side on the crater, and then you can ship those things, or it rewards you continuously in single player. Do you think something like that would happen, is feasible? Baboon King, what do you think?
I think it is a great idea. It is. I've known as a couple of people would argue, and I have sat on this idea or this question before, like if the two can interact, help each other out, like the one doing task on one side and sending stuff over to the other or something. I know some people will say, like, just remember there are people who are really good at the game. Let's say, for instance, they have a really, really great clan. They work clockwork. They can do anything in a short amount of time. They can do a couple of things. They get a couple of items, send it over to the other sides, to just low-level characters and whatnot, and then they get free stuff. They don't experience the game then like you're supposed to. That's one thing. But I would like to see it like we experienced in that one season you mentioned, which was fun because you can do something in a creator and it affects your single player. And you will get rewards once you've done a couple of things, which will make your single player experience much more better. So that's just my 2 cents on it.
All right, now, Boo, what are your thoughts?
I think it would be sick because the main story with the Sector 7 is that you have the brother or the sister of your main character,
right,
living on the other side of the wall, and in the letters they're talking about finding each other or waiting for each other, etc. So yeah, it would be great to have some kind of a following story behind that, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I mean, if that happens, it would be great, but
yeah,
I'm not really confident with that.
Yeah, if it's going to happen, it's only going to happen one way. You send things from multiplayer to your single player side, because unfortunately there are people that don't play the game on the same level of fairness on the single player side as everyone. So because their game data is hosted, on their local device, whatever they're playing on, it can be manipulated without any real, repercussions or consequences, which takes all the fun out of the game in general, pretty much. So it only works sending things from multiplayer to your single player. So if with that said, what if they create a system like that and use that to introduce like a new resource that we don't have, like tungsten or titanium, where there's a special zone, like a special like instance zone, like bauxite quarry, but something else, a different zone similar to that. You farm tungsten, you go back to the crater, and you go to the mailbox and you say, I'm going to ship this to my single player guy or gal. And then I guess they would have to have a way to receive that, because as far as I know, we don't have an inbox or anything, or we have an inbox but not a mailbox. But
yeah,
I don't know. That's like that. I'm saying that's a way that we can introduce tungsten, if not
Definitely. Yeah.
There was Bender Brute did mention actually a very good idea I don't know how long ago, but he had a very good idea. What if you can do what you just mentioned, Rukus? Like you get that one item like tungsten or something. Now you want to ship it over the wall. How about the trader? Then he shows up. He's telling you, like, listen, I got this to trade for you. It comes from the wall from your sister or your brother, but you got to trade with me. And now gold maybe comes into play or something. Now you have to trade gold or something to get that item.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
Because he is a black market trader. You know, he is an arms dealer, so he knows his way around.
Yeah. So you give the stuff to the trader,
Yeah.
and then you gotta go get it from. I like that. I like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, that would make sense. Totally.
And that would give a reason. Give people a reason to want to play multiplayer more.
Yes.
So I don't know. I think it all works. I think it all works. I like that. Good stuff. Hey, yo, Kefir, I hope you're listening, because this is we're writing the story for you right here.
Yeah.
All right. Just real quick. People have been posting it, but we are gonna take questions from the Discord. We're gonna talk a little bit about season 11 and then jump into those. Now that I say we're gonna talk about season 11 a little bit, and then Nabu is going to take the questions, but we don't know anything really about season 11, so it can't, like, we're not gonna say, oh, what do you think of this concept art, or what did you think of this trailer, because we don't know anything yet. So we're just gonna make some wild accusations and just see what happens. So we'll start, Baboon King, with you. If you had to place a bet that season 11 was going to be a multiplayer or single player update, which would you bet on and why?
I would say it might be depending completely on the success of this season, which is not looking good at the moment. I would say it might be a multiplayer update based on this season, because if week 3 does not deliver, then they might have to do something to get people attention back into something else while they work on something new. So they might have to jump into multiplayer, have something ready there, and the single player next season 12, might be then a single player one, which might be taking into consideration everything what happened in this season. But it is something I would like to mention to everybody, how seasons work. It works in every game that has a league or a season. As soon as, let's say for instance season 10, okay, as soon as they launched season 10, they were already working on season 11. But that's just what I'm trying to just tell people, like, it doesn't matter if you tell them, like, okay, implement this next time. They're already working on the next time. When you start playing now, they're already working now on something. They already planned it out. So what I want to do is, like, say, no, in season 12 it should happen. This works in every game, every league. They have plans, they have ideas. So once, let's say for instance, season 10 starts, or when season 10 launches, season 11 was already in production. Like, they're already working on it.
Right.
So I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, that's because that's exactly what we saw with the Fort Moss, like, pitting people against each other system. Like, the whole time that was happening, we were like, hey, this system's kind of dumb. Like in everybody, I mean, every community, everybody everywhere, we're saying this is bad. Like, this is, everybody, either make it to where we can see, like, who is where, or make it to where everybody has a chance to get all the rewards. And when we went, as I think we, like, a lot of partners, if not all the partners, were like, don't do this for the next season. They were like, it's too late. Sorry, it's there. But then after that, because it was Fort Moss, the Christmas tree, and then because they already were developing that system for the Christmas tree, it was the season after that where they were like, all right, sorry, we won't do that again. But
so yeah. So my original question, my bet is it's gonna be multiplayer.
All right, now, Boo.
Oh.
What do you think? Since you're back.
Okay, I wouldn't. I wouldn't bet on that. No, I would bet on a single player update. I mean, I wish this could be a multiplayer update, but I don't think so. I think we have to wait because you see, we waited a long time for the multiplayer update. So, yeah, if they do that, would be great. But I'm pretty sure I could bet at least $20 on a single player update.
Oh, oh,
This is getting
interesting.
real.
Interesting. We're laying down some cash dollars now. Okay. So my thinking is, while I agree a little bit that the multiplayer updates do seem to be, few and far between, they just did a huge rework to the multiplayer. They're adding new stuff, and I think they're focused on it a little bit. There's still some areas to expand. There's a mechanic dude on like the bottom, like the far east side. There's areas to expand. I gotta tell you, I think with the amount of work that they've been putting into multiplayer, I'm thinking it's gonna be multiplayer because
Okay.
it's just it's hard. It's hard because it's hard to say that I think Kefir's turning over a new leaf, because typically the other side of the leaf is the exact same as the first side with them. But I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, you know what, this is, they've been focusing more on multiplayer. This is it. We're coming in hot. We're gonna update some more stuff. We're gonna figure out what's going on with the bike mechanic dude, and it's hopes and dreams, but dang it, I'm a gambling man. So I'm gambling that Kefir's getting better. Come on, don't let me down. Don't let me down, please.
Okay, so guys, if I understand well, if it's not a multiplayer update next season, you both owe me $20 each, okay?
Okay, but fine. And if it is, then you owe us both $20.
Yeah, sure. I will give you my PayPal account.
All right. It's a
Do you
deal.
accept fresh kidneys? Because, yeah, I don't have much. Anyways.
You selling kidneys for $20? Dang.
Yeah, that's
But she's gonna
cheap.
get a lot more out of that than what I am.
Oh my gosh.
I have to pay off debt anyway.
You can send me a lion or a leopard.
Yeah, just,
I would rather send you my kidneys, less illegal.
just go.
Yeah, I'd rather a pet lion.
Just pick up a puma, put it in a box, and then ship it to France. There you go.
Well,
Perfect.
Rukus, if you make it sound that easy, it cannot be that hard. It just cannot be that hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. On that, what specifically do you hope is going to be a part of season 11 Naboo? Uh-oh. Caught her off guard.
Okay. What I would really love to see, but I'm not sure it's gonna be in like any season soon, but would be sick if it was in season 11. Since we did like all the research, the catching zombies, the research, I don't know what's gonna be in week 3. But next season would be sick to have something permanent like an hospital.
Yeah.
Some place, maybe kind of like a bunker.
We want new permanent
with
stuff.
floors. Would be very good.
Right.
With the like nurse zombies and surgeon zombies, and yeah, you could find some items that are maybe hard to find, but each floor would be harder and harder. Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. 100%. Baboon King, what about you?
So I did mention that hoping it will be a multiplayer because it will be single player, multiplayer, single player, multiplayer updates sequentially. But if it's going to be a single player, what I want to see it taking further, working with what Nabu is saying, instead of a hospital, I was thinking like now you've done research and I figured out like, okay, there's the origin where the virus started or something.
Mm-hmm.
And you go there and there's this also another laboratory, but it's these weird anomaly sort of zombies. Like they blur a little, like being a little bit invisible or something, because there's numerous tests that has been done on them. Sort of like Resident Evil, like that Umbrella Corporation. That's where everything started there. And then it's just a mutation of zombies that started. So I was thinking maybe something like that to continue on the storyline. But otherwise, I would love to see the weather system just remain in season 11. If that would happen, that would be great. And then what I would hope is a multiplayer update rather, so they can focus, like I said, single player, multiplayer, single player, multiplayer. Just to keep things fresh on both sides now, because they, like you said, Rukus, they did a big update on this on Sector 7. Just keep the trend now. Now you've put things in place. Work with it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So season 11, I'm calling my shot right now, and it's so I already said I'm gambling on it being multiplayer. So I'm calling my shot. I'm putting it out into the universe. Clan Wars. I said it. I'm calling my shot. Clan Wars. We have the popularity system, so they can say, okay, these are like top tier clans. These are like mid tier. These clans, like maybe they don't play so much. They only got a couple people. I'm calling my shot. Clan Wars. It's everything is where it needs to be to make Clan Wars happen with with the popularity system, with like we got the clan storage, we got the shops and everything. It's there. It's there. So
Okay.
calling my shot. Clan Wars. Quote me. You heard it here first that I possibly am going to be right, because I don't know. I'm just calling my shot. I calls them like I sees them.
All right. Let's see how that works.
All right. So, now, Boo, we'll start with you on this last question before we go into the questions from Discord, guys. If you want to ask a question related to what we're talking about, we're gonna ask this one last question and then jump into the Discord. Now, Boo, I'm gonna start with you because you already kind of brought this up, or you already kind of answered this question. But if there's gonna be permanent content added into season 11, what do you think it will be?
Okay, so there's difference between what I would like and what I think could be possible, because I don't really believe that they would add like a medical center, an hospital. This is my dreams, hopes and dreams. But what could be like maybe more doable? That's a very good question.
Ooh, caught her off guard.
Yeah, maybe something as you talked about with the ATV, like a new location that would make sense for the players who already unlocked the ATV. That could make sense and be good.
Yeah. Okay. And Mr. Baboon King.
Well, that is sort of a tough question. Permanent things I want in the game, obviously, I think everybody's going to agree with, is the weather system A. All right, that's what I think we all want. That's what we must have, and we will, I don't know, talk about it more until they do it. But I think what they should do is, Nabu has some really cool ideas. I'm trying to think of all the zombie movies and games I've been playing. What springs to mind for me is 7 Days to Die, where there was a hospital where there are nurse zombies, so that is a possibility. I was also thinking maybe, I don't know, a school, high school, or something with these teachers
Oh,
and
yeah,
something.
creepy.
Yeah, really
Huh.
creepy areas. A
Yeah.
graveyard, for instance, maybe that could be cool.
Oh,
An
yeah.
ancient monument,
Could
like
you
this. Yeah.
could you imagine little kid zombies running at you and you gotta kill them? Like when you say school, I'm thinking like you got teachers and you got kids. Yeah. And then
I,
they added a new boss, the principal.
oh,
Principal.
yeah.
And he runs around like he has like a decayed wooden paddle. That's his like,
Yeah.
that's his weapon.
Yeah. And then he has this massive swing,
Oh my
swings
gosh.
everything, breaks it. No, but I'm just thinking of maybe a high school or something like that. Because I was thinking of that anime
Or
high school
university.
or university, it could be. Also, like I said, an ancient monument, something way different. Something there's this ancient or
Yeah.
tribal things, people, like just as something. I don't know. I'm just thinking of a little bit outside the box of unique locations that could be added, which can only be reached because of the ATV. You have to go to the swamp, and usually that's like kaijun area, like gotta catch 'em gators, those type of people. That's what I think about swamps. But there's also different swamps where there are ancient civilizations. So I was thinking maybe stuff like that, like with traps. Like it would look like a basement, but it's like with traps and mummified zombies, and those things would do new things, maybe.
Interesting.
So that was I thinking.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think as far as well, and again, like what Nabu said, there's stuff that I hope will be permanent content, and there's stuff that I think would be more realistic for season 11. What I would hope would be permanent content would be another use for the ATV besides going to the swamp. That's my hope. Whether it's a new bunker or something like that, I don't know. But something else besides going to the swamp and farming resources up there for the ATV. And along with that would be the ability to upgrade the ATV. Maybe that's what you need. You need better tires or something. Yeah, I don't know, like increased whatever to get through like a deeper part of the swamp to get to like a flooded bunker, and that's like Foxtrot or something. I don't know. So that's like kind of a hopeful. And then for what I actually think would be more realistic, would probably be like for permanent content would be something in multiplayer like Clan Wars. I think that is a very realistic thing to do. And that's something that could stay and not have it be a part of the season, but have it not end after the season. I also think the weather would be very easy to implement. We talked about a couple of different ways that they could implement the system. I don't think it will be because, like you already said, once Baboon, they're already thinking about what's up with the next season. Not like so they're not even considering at the time like, hey, this is a great thing. Like people like this. Let's put it into the season. You know what I mean? So they're like, all right, we're gonna put this out there and then start working on this other thing. But if they would take a week and have people be like, yo, this weather thing is awesome, they're like, all right, cool, let's include that and make it permanent going into the next season. So yeah, those are my thoughts to finish up our plan topic. So Nabu, have we been checking out? Are there any good questions in the Discord? All right, what do you got for us?
Okay, there's TW57 asking you, Rukus, would you play more on single player if they bring back Carlos's diary? Like you could find it randomly in any location. It has 50 tasks rewards, and completing it would add like a percentage to the gold of having the ability to build another base by one of the watchtowers, the swamp, north, or alpha.
I mean, that seems like kind of a far-fetched idea, but I mean, yeah, I would. if you could build a second base, it's totally doable, to do that. And to have that set up, you could use a similar system like what we saw in Fort Moss, where you have to go and like clear things out and then, build your base there. But yeah, I would, if that was a part of single player, I would absolutely do that. I think it's far-fetched, but yeah, I would do that. 100% I would do that.
Can I just add to that? Remember when they removed the zombie truck, Rukus? I don't know if you know about that.
Remove the zombie truck. I
think they removed it. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure I read something like they removed it or something. But if you, in the blueprints, when you selected what to craft next, one of the things was the ability to build a second base, but they removed the zombie truck.
Oh.
Yeah. I think if you go back on the Discord of last day in the server news, I think, or something, they would say that sadly that some things cannot stay in the game. And they removed the zombie truck, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, I could be corrected, and if I'm corrected, then cool. But I'm pretty sure the zombie truck has been removed, and that said in its description, this will enable you to build a second base.
Oh man, when was that? I've only been playing for a year. Was that more than a year ago? A lot of people in the chat are saying you're right.
Oh yeah, I don't know when that was. I just remembered when it was just mentioned like a second base, and I remembered the zombie truck, but that was removed. A second base would be cool. Don't be me wrong. I would love that.
Yeah,
but...
I think the zombie truck is still in the list, but they announced that it was very unlikely that they would make it actually doable, like craftable in the game.
Mm.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff right now. Let's see, like, the helicopter, you can't make that. Yeah, so the zombie truck is a thing that you can build, but we don't have titanium yet, and I would presume that we would get tungsten before titanium. Yeah, zombie truck allows you to build a truck to set up other bases on the map. So it's technically still in the game, but you can't build it because we don't have titanium. So they could easily just remove that from the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, if that was possible, yeah, I would grind single player harder so I could do fun stuff like that. But yeah, it's not right now.
Yeah.
There's May Mosier Muffin 26.
Oh, Muffin.
Sorry if I scratched.
Just
Muffin.
Yeah. Just Muffin. Hi, Muffin.
Just Muffin. She asked, what system in other games do you want to see in Ldoe to implement to improve our gameplay? Overall, that would make your gameplay or your base way more effective or more enjoyable. What do you think, Baboon King?
That is a tough question because every game, doesn't matter what game. If we just stick to like a zombie topic game, if it's zombie genre, each of those zombie genre games had that one thing that made it special. But the core remained that it needs to be a survival game. So if you watch like a bunch of movies and whatnot, how smarter each movie gets, like how a zombie apocalypse would happen and what would happen next, whatnot, how people survive. If you watch from like the oldest to the latest, you will see like the latest one is like people survived a little bit better because things happened. I just feel like to the ability to, I don't know, it's a very hard question, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a difficult one.
Because there's not, I feel like what's the best answer I can give is the seasons that we are experiencing, in my eyes, is the developers testing out different mechanics and see what people enjoy and makes sense will be added at some point. That's what I see. That's how I understand it. So unfortunately, otherwise I don't have an answer for poor Muffin there.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Have an idea. Yeah, I have an idea because I played on Westlands. It's another game that I think Kefir, but and what I really liked into that game is the production system, because you have sort of small warehouses where you can store like specific resources, and when you put those resources to make it like when you put like wood to make it like a I don't know the word in English, sorry. Like when you transform wood into wooden
Like
help me
planks?
there. Yeah, planks, sorry.
That's okay.
Mhm.
So, well, when you put wood and the planks are over, they automatically like go into the warehouse, and you
Interesting.
don't have to, make the changes, and you can produce more in a more efficient way. So, I think that would be something really great to implement into Ldoe, because the production system is really not efficient, and because we are limited to only 40 chests on the floor in the base. Having those warehouse could help us, you know, manage the system. Like it would be better because we would have more space into the chest to store, like, I don't know, like
Backup
specific
pieces of
items
armor.
like C4 or armors, and in the
Yeah.
storage we would have food, I don't know, weapons, wood, stone, etc. So yeah, that would be something. Do you
That would
have
be really cool.
anything else in your mind, Rukus?
I mean, I was just gonna. I can't say that I've seen this in other games, but like just some things that I would change. Number one, would be to make it where your guns don't magically explode when you're done using them. Instead of having durability on a weapon, you have bullets, and then like implement some kind of bullet crafting system, and then you
Yeah.
carry bullets around with you, instead of I just use this gun and then it blew up. So yeah, so I would try to I would say implement that, and then just like a general change would be to maybe add a second recycler, like because I was in a stage, man, where like I would have to log into the game like just to re-up stuff on my recycler when I was trying to level up like my firearms. I was logging in like every hour, and it's like, oh man, and it just felt like it took forever. Like I'm past that point now, but that was one of the hardest grinds that I and yeah. So and again, I can't take that from another game. Because really, Last Day is kind of the only survival game that I've played, and for the most part, it set the bar really high. I know there are other survival games that have better, concepts and things. I guess the only other survival game that I played was Rust, and I am god awful at Rust. Uh, so okay, so take the concept, to take a concept from Rust and to take a BS advertisement that Kefir put out, have us be able to make more floors onto our base, because Kefir put out an ad where they were putting like turrets on like the second floor, and they were taking out zombies like when the horde came, and
Oh,
I was like, whoa, we're gonna be able to like build a second floor on the next update. And we went to the developers, and we were like, oh man, like when is this gonna happen? And they were like, it's not. I'm like,
Oh,
wait, what?
I probably missed that meeting then.
oh, yeah.
Um, but
Well,
Ruckus, I actually want to add to that.
oh, okay.
The bullets thing.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
actually had an idea, which was a couple of people said it would be really cool. Like I agree with you. Instead of durability, we use bullets. So you'd rather craft just or have one weapon, but
Mm-hmm.
craft different types of bullets. For instance, maybe a tracer round. So every third or fourth shot has
Oh.
a small chance to set the zombie on fire, like the flare.
Oh.
Maybe if we can unlock the chemistry station to craft bullets that poison the zombies. Some like maybe disorient the zombies so they start attacking each other, like for a grenade launcher, you know, have it like have a different bullet where it would shoot a pheromone or something to a zombie, and all the zombies will just be attracted to that one zombie, starts attacking it. You know, something like that.
Yeah.
Having bunch of different, and that will make it more tactical, and it makes more practical, because now you only carry one M16 and one AK, and you put it on modifications, and it will count as a modification to the gun. Maybe, you know, it's like, okay, I have a magazine, and now the modification of poison rounds or tracer rounds or full metal jackets, hollow points, whatever.
Oh man, that's good. I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. All right.
Me too.
Now, Boo, what other questions do we have in the chat?
Yeah. There's a question from Dexter. Do you think the guns should be stackable in recycler?
Oh,
Baboon King.
Ooh.
Oh, sorry. Okay, go ahead, Rukus.
I mean,
We're gonna let
Rukus.
Baboon King think about it.
Do I want them to be? Yes. Do I think they should be? No, because that. All right. No, I don't. I don't think they should be.
Why?
The resources that you get from guns are like they're much higher than what you're gonna get from a stack of batteries. I mean, I'm just trying to keep it fair. I 100% wish that was. I wish I could put a 20 stack of Glocks on on the recycler. I do, but it would be like you do that and then like number one, it's gonna max out on springs after what, like 4 or 5 guns if they're full durability, and that's another thing too, is like, how are you managing like the durability? Like, would they all have to be full? Like, does it sort from like low durability to high automatically? I agree with the concept, but no, it would be too busted, and no.
Okay.
What I agree with Rukus, actually, because the other thing why it should not stack, this is my reason, but I agree with Rukus, like how the system is going to manage, because every step of the durability of a gun has a game ID to it. So, and the 2 IDs cannot be duplicated. Okay, but everybody gets that. So people who do programming will also know what I mean. But anyways, but the reason why I would say like they should not be able to stack, then people would later argue like, why can I stack guns in a recycler but not in my chest?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then like, if you do for one, you have to do for the other one as well. If you stack in the recycler, I'm allowed to stack in a box as well. So there's that issue.
Yep.
What they could do though, is instead of making possible to stack like 20 Glocks in the recycler, because as you said, like in the developer point of view, it's not possible, but they could like add some slots in the recycler. Like you could put maybe 3 or 5 Glocks, one in a row, and just let this recycler work his way for the 3 of the 5. And that way you don't have to go that often to the recycler to change the content.
If you do something like that, then you have to change where. So like if you put, I don't know, like if you do a stack of batteries and you get 12 copper bars and you put another stack of batteries on, if like once you get 8 more, copper bars, it stops recycling. So then you either have to make it to where, because how it is now, it's going to stop. It doesn't matter if you have 5 stacks of copper, whatever. So you have to either raise that max or implement some new system to where it automatically transfers it, into your inventory.
Yeah, precisely my thought.
Okay, I was going to say, like, it would only work if you do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed. Maybe do we have time for one last question?
Where we're at? Oh, we're at 2 hours. Yeah, we can do one more question.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Let me put my glasses on.
Oh boy.
Okay.
There you go.
Choo, 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 choo. Um,
Make it a good.
okay, there's okay, let me check. There's Dexter wondering, maybe we can help him with that
Okay.
question he's asking. Has Baboon King said that the developers keep working on the new season when the current season is going on? Then why does it take them almost a month or something to release a new season? I think that's bizarre considering the players want that season to come out sooner, if not just after the end of the current season. What would you answer that, Baboon King?
So the thing is, how I see how seasons work and whatnot. So usually they would. I'm just going to take, for example, the one game I play, Path of Exile. They release about 4 seasons a year, and each season takes about 2.5, maybe 3 months. So what they do is they would let the season play out while they're developing the next season, but that space in between, they do like last minute sales, for instance, on skins, like armor pieces or whatnot. They collect feedback from forums, like from people like saying, listen, this is a little bit overpowering, that is underpowered, this has been. They collect a lot of data just to see how that season went. That takes a couple of weeks because you have a lot of data to go through. Be it that I'm not sure how the player base is between Path of Exile versus Last Day on Earth, how big the player base is on both of it. But if it's a lot of players, you're gonna need a week or two at least to gather the info, get all the feedback, and see if you cannot make any last minute changes before implementing the next season. But they also have to figure out like what is going to do for the season after that, because while the players are playing the next season, that's your time to start working on the next season. Otherwise, you're gonna have like what, 2 seasons a year, and that's not gonna make it fun.
Yeah, and it's more so I've done a little bit of coding, and I used to work like directly with our development teams. At my last job as a sales engineer, a lot of what I did was collect information about what our customers would think, and then give them feedback. But they would already have like a month to say, okay, here's what we're gonna have by the end of the month, and here's what we're gonna get there, and then we have this small amount of time to do other things, like if an emergency comes up. But it's you put in like you have a timeline. It's called like a development cycle where you plan for X number of days, and then you develop, and then it goes into QA, and then maybe like a live, like a staging where like some select people have access to it, and then it goes live. So, but you have to have a plan. So going back to what we said earlier when we were talking about the system in Fort Moss, and where it was like X number of players are gonna get this, and like how they had it as tiers, and how it was a competition. By the time we said this system is crap, don't do it again, that was already like the base of their plan. So there was no going back from it. Could they make small changes here and there? Sure. But when you have that as the base of what you're building your reward system around, you can't just scrap it and start from new. We would have waited weeks for a new season. So yes, when we start on a season and they put it into production and they say, all right, this is out there, we can hotfix a few things, yes, but we're starting developing the next season. So we're putting the foundation down, and then we're going to build on it. Like that foundation, it is unlikely that it's going to change. But, what goes on top of that foundation, is more subject to, what the popular opinion changes.
basically like how the minor, that changes
Yeah.
those. That's just a couple of numbers they can tweak. It's
Yep.
not a whole artwork and mechanics and everywhere. It's just a couple of numbers they tweak just to see what happens.
Yeah, they raise the rate of of the abilities. Seems like they go a little more into a sequence now, but yeah, exactly. That's just saying, okay, instead of this frequency, it's 4. Maybe let's bump it up to 6. Let's see what people think. Because I mean, they probably saw people like, oh yeah, I can do the minor. Yeah, just me and Hinky. Come on, man. Like we'll go, and just the two of us. And they see people doing that, and they're like, okay, this is supposed to be the hardest thing in the game. Let's make it harder. So yeah, agree, 100%. All right.
Okay.
So I think that's it. Nabu, are we good?
Yeah.
All right. Baboon, any last words?
No, not really. People just have to wait for announcements wherever. I'm gonna make announcements wherever I can about the state of my PC when it's gonna get fixed. It's still in surgery, like I said in the beginning. Trying to figure out what's wrong with it. But don't fear, guys. I will try to get it done as soon as possible. I'm trying everything I can. We're still diagnosing what is wrong with it. But other than that, there is Rukus to enjoy his streams and whatnot. I would highly recommend just hang out there. I will be there. Wherever, there's other people out there. It's not just me. So, yeah, no, that's all from me. But yeah.
Yeah, well, on behalf of Nabu and myself, thank you so much for coming in and being a part of the podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure having you. Make sure plug your YouTube. What's your YouTube channel name?
It's just Baboon King. So you can just go on YouTube and search for Baboon King. You'll see my logo. It's there. Otherwise, it's YouTube/C/Baboon King. Same thing.
There you go. All right, make sure that you go subscribe to his YouTube channel. Also, you see his Twitch link right there, twitch.tv/Baboon King Official. Baboon King, thank you so very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Everybody, that is going to do it for us today. Everybody in the chat, everybody listening on Spotify, everybody listening on the iTunes thing, everybody watching this on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Make sure you check us out next month. We will be talking once again, more than likely, about the new season. So make sure that you guys tune into that. Make sure that you are following Nabu on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/Nabu360. So to everybody, thank you. Peace, love, good vibes, and we will see you next time.